Alrighty, what is going on everybody? It is Mr. Buddy here, bringing you guys another one of my discussion videos. So, if you're a new subscriber to my channel, or if you've just stumbled upon this video on the bowels of YouTube, as they say, pretty much what I like to do in these videos is just kind of discuss and talk about various video game related ideas and topics I've been kind of thinking about recently. So this video is going to be done entirely scriptless. I feel like I need to mention this in every discussion video, because somebody's always like, whoa, you're saying too much, you're saying too much, and yes, that's what's going to happen in a scriptless video. I am going to be pulling ideas right out of my mind, so because of that, you're going to hear lots of ohs, ers, and ums, and if that offends or outrages you, then I would suggest really just getting out of the video as quickly as possible. This is just a warning so you don't come out of the video being enraged and seeking blood. So that's just a quick warning from Mr. Buddy, and let's jump right in and let's talk about Amiibos. More specifically, should there be an Amiibo-Centric game? Now, when I say Amiibo-Centric game, I'm talking about a game that solely uses Amiibos, kind of down to the core concept of the game, where you would have to have an Amiibo to be able to play the game. Now, it's worth noting right now at the start of the video that there are two Amiibo-centric games, as I'm going to call them, that one's already out and one's going to be coming out in the future. The one that's already out is sort of a mode in Mario Party 10 called Amiibo Party. Now, in that mode, you have to have an Amiibo to be able to play it, and each Amiibo kind of gives you a different set of board pieces that you can swap in to sort of customize your board. Your board game board, excuse me. It's scriptless video, I'm already messing up. So that's one of the things. And then the other Amiibo-centric game is Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. Now, regardless of what you think of this game, I personally think it looks bad, but it does count as an Amiibo-centric game because you have to have the Animal Crossing Amiibos in order to play this game. There is no way around it. You must have one of these Amiibos to play the game. And the game pretty much plays just like a Mario Party game, but without any of the mini games, so pretty much without any of the fun. Now, these games, while they are Amiibo-centric, they aren't quite the type of Amiibo-centric game that I would like to see in the future. The type of Amiibo-centric game I want to see is one very similar to Disney Infinity or Skylanders, or to a lesser extent LEGO Dimensions. I believe that they call these types of games toy-to-life games, and I would love to see Nintendo explore this type of game, being the toy-to-life game, where, I mean, maybe you take two figures, you put them down on the Wii U gamepad, or, you know, whatever the NX will have, because I'm sure this game would be on the NX, and then you're able to play as them really in the game. And I think that this is a great idea, and honestly, I'm really shocked that Nintendo has not used Amiibos in a toy-to-life game yet. So I should probably mention and go over really what Amiibo's purpose and function are now. So kind of Amiibo in general, just it's sort of a mixed bag for me. So I think that Nintendo has done by design, they've made it so rather than having one big purpose for an Amiibo, they make it so that Amiibo have functionality in a lot of, like, a whole bunch of games, but their functionality is very small and sometimes just so stupid, dare I say it, rather than having like a big main focus game. So for example, let's take the Mario Amiibo. So if you scan the Mario Amiibo in Smash Brothers, you're able to get a figure player Amiibo in the game, which essentially acts like a computer. Then you can also scan the Mario Amiibo in Mario Kart to get a Mii racing costume. You can scan the Mario Amiibo in, I believe, what is it? Yoshi's Woolly World, excuse me. And you'll get a special Yoshi skin, and you're also able to scan the Mario Amiibo in well, there's so many games. Mario Party 10 as well, where you'll get kind of the Mario board piece. So, I mean, there's a lot of these functionality, but as you can probably see, they're just so small and so insignificant. Now, don't get me wrong, some of them do have bigger functionality, like, for instance, the Splatoon Amiibos. I think each one gives you 20 exclusive missions and exclusive armor in Splatoon. but for the most part, the functionality of Amiibo is rather small, and for the most part, I'd say it's sort of insignificant. Like, it's enough that, geez, how do I phrase it? Like, the use of Amiibos, at least functionality-wise in games, is so small that I would not buy Amiibos for functionality, at least not right now. All the Amiibos I have currently are because I like, the games, or I just want to collect the entire set, but I would never, none of these Amiibos I bought because I wanted to use them in a game, because the functionality is so small and so insignificant. I mean, for instance, Pikachu, I mean, you think, oh, Pikachu, he's one of the most popular Nintendo characters. He only has, I believe, maybe 1 or 2 uses in, like, every Nintendo game that supports Amiibos. Like, you can't even use Pikachu in Yoshi's Woolly World for some reason. You can't use any Pokemon. You can only use Amiibo in, I believe, the Smash Brothers Amiibo functionality, which gives you like an AI opponent, and I believe there might be one other game I'm probably forgetting, but he has such few uses that, I mean, I'm a huge Pokemon fan, as you guys probably know, but I would never ever buy Pikachu if I didn't like the character. Like, I would not be like, oh, I want to buy Pikachu to get this exclusive costume. I would never do that, because that's such a small and useless feature that I would have to spend, I think, $13 on to get a figure of. So, it's just something I would not do. Now, I feel like to sort of remedy kind of, I mean, I know this is all my opinion, but I feel like Amiibo's uses aren't too big, but I feel like to sort of remedy that is to make really a toy-to-life game similar to Skylanders or Infinity, like I was suggesting before. I mean, make it so, like, every Amiibo figure that actually is not a card, but is an actual figure, make it so that all of those figures are able to be used and playable in an Amiibo-Centric game. Now, I'm going to be calling this game Amiibo-Land, just because I don't want to keep saying, like, toy-to-life game or Nintendo Amiibo-Centric game. I'm going to be calling it Amiibo-Land, but that's not an official name. That's just kind of a term I'm going to be using to refer to this game. So in this hypothetical Amiibo-Land, I would die if they made it so you could use every Amiibo that has an actual physical figure. I mean, can you imagine using, like, the Inkling Squid with Meta Knight and Sonic's also on your team? Just something crazy like that. That would be so cool to see, and I feel like it's a missed opportunity to not do that. God, just thinking about the possibilities for, like, locations and areas you could go to, all the characters they could do, it's really astounding. I mean, just off the top of my head, imagine being, like, the Inkling girl and going to Isle Delfino with, Mario, and he has a flood, and you're, like, trying to cover the place in ink and wash it up. I mean, that's such a pipe dream of a scenario, it probably won't happen, but really just, like, pulling locations from different games. Like, you could have, your Amiibos run around in, like I was saying, Isle Delfino, or the Comet Observatory from Mario Galaxy. You could have Green Greens from Kirby, even a Mega Man or a Pac-Man level to get third parties in here. Maybe go all the way with Pokemon and do, like, Pallet Town or something. I have not played Kid Icarus, but some of the places in Kid Icarus look really cool. So maybe have, like, Skyworld from Kid Icarus. Maybe the Animal Crossing town. There's so many cool locations that they could put in the game that I would love to see. Now, that's one of the things that, I mean, I know I'm just talking about locations right now, but I feel like Nintendo's characters and locations are so iconic that I would love and enjoy them a lot more than Skylanders, where, I mean, no disrespect to Skylanders, they've done an amazing job in, like, making their own things, but Skylanders locations, because I'm not, like, a big Skylanders fan, and because they're making them, up just for Skylanders, I just don't feel like they are as iconic as Nintendo places. I also sort of feel the same way about Infinity, because Infinity does use existing Disney areas, but those are mostly from movies and whatnot, and I feel like, at least to me, maybe I'm just biased because I'm a gamer, but I feel like at least Nintendo's locations are maybe not more iconic, but at least on the same level as iconic as Disney areas and stuff they included in Infinity. So I would absolutely love to see, a bunch of different Nintendo locations. Now, talking about characters they could use in this hypothetical Amiibo land, I mean, naturally we have, you know, all of the already made Amiibos. We have the Mario line, we have all 50 whatever of the Smash Brothers line, then we have the Splatoon line. Supposedly there's going to be a Star Fox line coming. I don't know if that's rumor is true or not. It's entirely a rumor right now. But, I mean, they could do so much. And with more Amiibos definitely going to be coming out in the future, this game would constantly be updating. And it would just be awesome to see. Alright, so talking about kind of my last thing I would like to see in this Amiibo land. Well, I guess maybe not the last thing, but one of the things is I feel like... excuse me. I feel like if they did this, then they'd have a perfect opportunity to start introducing Amiibos for maybe classic Nintendo vehicles, and also maybe items. Now, I believe that Miyamoto at the last E3 talked about they were working on an R-Wing Amiibo, and I think that that would be a great thing to see in an Amiibo Land game like this. Maybe that, along with a bunch of other classic Nintendo vehicles. I mean, you could do a bunch of things with, like, Mario Kart. You could get Wario's motorcycle in, maybe, like, the Kirby Warp Star. They could do a bunch of cool things with, really, vehicles and, kind of to another extent, items. I think they could really do a lot with including a bunch of classic Nintendo items. Now, because I think that, this might sound crazy, but I think there might be too many items to make physical Amiibos for. I think that they could actually really use the card Amiibos to their advantage here. I think that the Animal Crossing card Amiibos that they've announced, I think there's like over 100 of them. I will not be collecting those, by the way, in case you're wondering. That's crazy. That's a crazy amount. But I feel like with card Amiibos, they could really make items for this potential Amiibo game really well. Maybe you get like a booster of 5 cards, and then in them you could get like, you know, Link's shield. You could get maybe a 1-up mushroom, or like, I don't know. I'm just thinking. I'm looking at all my Amiibos trying to think. Maybe you get a power pellet from Pac-Man that gives you like a buff to your stats, or maybe you get a like a potion from Zelda. There's like so many different items and just things from all these games they could pull from. I mean, you could get like the roller from Splatoon as a weapon to roll around with. There's all these awesome, just really cool things they could do and pull from to make just an incredibly immersive game and just pull from all these different things. A game like this almost reminds me of kind of like Smash Brothers in a way, because it's pulling together all of these different franchises, but this would not play anything like Smash Brothers. That's kind of the last thing I want to talk about is, like, how exactly would this hypothetical game play? Because one of my biggest issues with Disney Infinity and Skylanders is that they start to, after a while, they start to feel really stale and kind of boring to me. Now, if you like them, then more power to you. But for me, they really do feel like just a beat 'em up and a button masher. Now, granted, I've only played Disney Infinity 1 and the original Skylanders, and while I did like them, from what I played, they felt like they devolved, at least by the end, into kind of a button mashing fest, where you're just pressing all these buttons to just beat up enemies in areas over and over again. From what I understand, in the later games, you can actually like level up your characters and get new abilities and stuff, and I think that that's great. And that probably makes it less of a button mashing fest because you can actually progress as a character. And for what it's worth, I think that if Nintendo did want to copy these other games, then I feel like it could definitely work, and they would have such a wide appeal by having these basic games anyone could play. And I wouldn't get too angry with them doing that, just kind of a copy. I mean, you know, just throwing in Toon Link and Rosalina and Mega Man into a game and just button mashing. I mean, I think that sounds awesome, and I wouldn't get too angry, but I feel like Nintendo could really, at least gameplay-wise, bring something new or unique so it doesn't feel like just a copy of these other toy-to-life games. Now, I am not a game designer or developer by any means, so I can't really think of like what ideas they could bring. One idea I've been thinking about that I'm not too... I mean, I thought of this idea, but I don't even like it. But is maybe making it like a turn-based RPG. Now, I know that sounds kind of crazy, and it might take away from kind of the franticness and the openness, but I mean, maybe making it a turn-based RPG, kind of similar in simplicity to Pokemon, with maybe added complexity, just like Pokemon. But I don't know, maybe having like, I mean, kind of the best example I can think of is maybe something similar to a Super Mario RPG, but with like a wide cast of characters and amiibos you can put in, and they'll become your party members. And I think it could work. I'm just not sure if that's what like people would want. I'm not too sure with like RPGs. I don't know if they have kind of the widespread appeal that, you know, something like Skylanders has, where anybody can play it. I know that when I was a kid, I wasn't a big fan of RPGs. I just wanted to get in there and beat stuff up. Now I'm totally different now, but I know that when I was a kid, I just wanted to beat stuff up, and I'm sure that, you know, maybe Nintendo fans who are younger probably feel that way, where they just want to beat things up, and I don't know if they'd necessarily like or even want a turn-based game where you're playing as, you know, Pac-Man and Charizard, and you have to wait a turn before you can, you know, use Flame Charge, or Pac-Man could like throw a cherry at someone. So I'm not sure if that would be the best idea. I mean, I'm just having trouble thinking of like what they could do to kind of distinguish themselves. Like in the case of Skylanders and Disney Infinity has that entire toy box mode where I'd say that their toy box mode is sort of like the focus of their games, where you can go in there and you can make, it's pretty much a level editor where you can just make your own level and just kind of mess around and goof around. And I think that that's kind of the big part of that game. Skylanders, I don't think has anything like that, but Skylanders is introducing like new things on a date, or I guess on a yearly basis, where they had, I mean, this is, I could be wrong, I don't play Skylanders, but Skylanders had like the giants, then they have vehicles now, then they had that thing where you could play as enemies. They had a bunch of that stuff, so I feel like Skylanders kind of diversifies itself by sort of yearly big changes, I guess, if you would even count that as big changes. So thinking about what Nintendo could do, I'm not really sure like what they could add, like what sort of mechanic or difference they could bring to the table, besides being Nintendo content and characters. I mean, I'm sure there's something out there, but I mean, right now I would just be okay if it really was sort of maybe not a copy, but just extremely similar to like Infinity or Skylanders, where you get these characters, you can level them up, and I'd be okay with that. I'm not sure if I've already mentioned it in the video. If I have, then please ignore me. It's been a long discussion. I should have written my my script down, but kind of what inspired me to talk about this was really, I believe in the latest Skylanders game, they are having both Bowser and Donkey Kong in the game. Now, if I've already talked about this, please, you can just you can exit the video now, because I'm gonna close up after this. But what they do is, so they're having a crossover where Bowser and Donkey Kong are in the game, and it looks insanely cool. And like each of them have really unique abilities, where Bowser is like hitting around Koopas with a hammer, and then Donkey Kong's using like he's in a tracksuit for some reason, which I think is kind of weird, but he has barrels that he's throwing around. So I think that, you know, that's really cool, and that kind of inspired me to think, you know, what if Nintendo made a game that's similar to this? Like, what if we had Toon Link running around, and what if Shulk was there doing Monado stuff? It'd just be really cool to see that happen. I'd love to see a game like this. Anyways, this kind of closes out my discussion, and really just let me know what you guys think in the comments. I mean, that's kind of the point of the discussions, is just to kind of get, really just to hear everybody else's thoughts. I mean, I can talk for days, but I can't really, because my throat is going to be on fire. So I'd love to hear what you guys know, so feel free to comment in the comment section below. Do you think this is a good idea? Would you like to see an Amiibo-centric game like this, that, you know, you can actually be these characters and run around? Or do you think this is a bad idea, and you'd rather see Amiibos kind of stick to having kind of the basic small features, so you don't have to actually worry about buying them? And that's totally a valid viewpoint. Don't misinterpret what I'm saying. I totally understand people who would rather not have a big game like this where they feel like they need to buy all these figures to play. I mean, I definitely can see why people would want Amiibos to kind of have this basic and limited functionality, so they never feel the need to actually go in and buy these figures. Anyways, just feel free to comment in the comment section below with your thoughts and ideas. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will catch you later.